What's going on? It's Saturday, and it's a big busy Saturday for me here in Omaha, May 17th. Today I do the callback on the upcoming indie film amplifier, where they have a part for me as a record store owner. I do that. I read for that today, and then tonight is the final part of the big punk rock reunion that's happening here in Omaha. It's been going on for the last 3 days. I actually tried to go to one of the events last night, but I showed up too early. It was supposed to start at 6, and the beer was just arriving at 6. I went home. It's like, fuck, you know. But the main thing is, to be honest, all through the punk rock history of Omaha, the main thing I've done is play. I'm not really one to hang out. I mean, I have hung out, and I can hang out, but the main thing I've ever done is play the music, make some friends, but I don't drink and hang out. So the main thing that's happening for me is tonight, RAF playing tonight. Listening to Touch People. This is a Nebraska native, Darren Keene. Excuse me. Also goes by, the show is The Rainbow. Excuse me. And this is on Blank Wave. The Faint had a record label for a short minute, and they put this out. Actually, it's worth showing you. It's a really neat looking piece of vinyl. Isn't that nice? Half and half. And then I had Darren sign it for me one time he was over here. I've actually listened to it a few times recently because I had talked about it to someone and said I just thought it was so-so, and then it was Scott Schultz actually, and he was saying, I think you need to give it another listen, and he was right. It's pretty good. A couple other things before I share. I did a trade yesterday and got a Grail item. Truly, I got an item that's a Grail for me. But I'll answer two questions from recent videos. Someone asked me, how did Peter Gabriel disappoint me? Here's the deal. It's not that Peter Gabriel did something. What it is that I matured. What I've learned is that it is foolish to put anyone on a pedestal. They'll disappoint you. Anyone that you raise above being just a regular guy or girl is going to disappoint you. We can love and respect and what people do, what they're about. People can awe us, but to raise them above us is a mistake that I've learned. So that's the answer about Peter Gabriel. It's just, as I grew as a person, it was obvious that this person is a human being too, and I don't own him. He's not a piece of property, and he doesn't do things in his life because of me, like fans can think, especially as young fans, when you get into something young and it just becomes something larger than life in your psyche. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about, and then when you come back to reality, it can be a hard come down. So that's what I mean about Peter Gabriel. The main thing I'm saying is I've just learned that it is really stupid to put people above you, anyone. Another question I got was, what do I think of Keiji Haino and the band Fujitsu? I don't know if I'm saying it right. I looked to see if I had some Keiji Haino handy to play in the background, and I don't. I totally respect Haino's guitar work. I have to be in the mood these days to go into music like that. Sound, noise, deep exploration, or whatever they're doing. But I love it. And I recognize Keiji Haino as an amazing guitarist who, I don't know much about his personal story, but he set out on a path, and he's remained on it regarding his art. I totally respect him for that. So to get to my Grail, yesterday I got to give a bunch of shout outs, mainly to Jesse Cundiff, who's in the BC, and his new record store, Hip Stop. I really hope Jesse can be successful. He got in a record Actually, last year he found it at the Goodwill, and it blew my mind, you know. And it was like, man, why couldn't I found that, you know? Well, thankfully, it ended up in my hands because we did a trade, okay? And I'll show that last. But his store is good. It's primarily used records, but he's going to have new releases, mainly punk new releases. So let me just I do apologize about this, having to not being ready to show you records better. I'll do that next time. But I had company yesterday, and that's also why this is. I had company. Some friends are in town from Atlanta for a wedding. So they stopped by. Matter of fact, Mason Brown of Brain Worlds was over yesterday, and I had him sign my Brain Worlds album for me. So I'll show one of the records I traded one item for one item, but Jesse was so happy with the trade he threw these in as well. I'll show you what I traded for though, and I'll show you what I had that I traded with. So I got another Jack DeJohnette special edition album, Tin Can Alley, on ECM. I have not dropped the needle on this yet, but I'm always after ECM, always. He had some old 45s that I just wanted to look through, and in those I found for my Beatles box, Wings, Let 'Em In, George Harrison, all those years, Cracker Box Palace. I can't afford to be a dedicated Beatles collector, but I do have Beatles, and they're very important to me. Jesse just threw these in. These weren't even really George Harrison all those years ago with the picture sleeve. Really appreciate this one, Jesse. And the real nice one he gave me was this one, John and Yoko, Happy Christmas, War is Over, on green vinyl. I used to have this. One of those things I sold that I regretted almost as soon as I sold it. So I really appreciate that Jesse gave this to me as part of the trade. The cover's split, but big deal. I was happy to do a 1-for-1 trade. Okay, I was happy to do a 1-for-1 trade, and he threw these in. But the record that I traded for, Indian Summer on RCA Neon. This is something I have been wanting for decades. I got turned on to the RCA Neon label as a teenager when myself and some friends went to a radio station for a tour to get some free records, some free promos. One of my friends got the Chris McGregor Brotherhood of Breath album. I got Dando Shaft. They're both on RCA Neon. Something about the label, as a 14-year-old kid, just hit me. It's like, that's just a perfect label. So I was in love with the label to start with. But I got the Dando Shaft, and I loved it. Still have it. Great English folk rock album. And the label just became desirable. The album Spring is on this label. I once had a CD, but never the vinyl. But this is one of those, these records on RCA Neon are collectible, and they're generally pricey. So now when Jesse said that he would do this trade with me, at first I thought, okay, I'm gonna get an Indian Summer, but I thought I'm gonna get a US Indian Summer. You know, that's what I figured. I'm just gonna get a US copy of Indian Summer. This is an original UK pressing. I was even more blown away when I saw it yesterday, you know. And this is a good album. They kind of remind me of early Spooky Tooth or art. This is really pretty good, actually, you know, besides being something I just, you know, really coveted for being what it is. It's actually a good album. You know, and I was just curious, you know, because I was telling, you know, Jesse, are you sure you want to do this trade? And he said, I am way sure, you know, and then we talked details and I'll only share some of the details, but I looked this up. This just sold yesterday somewhere for 300 plus bucks. So it's real happy to get this. And what I traded to get it makes me even happier. Jesse wanted to trade for a copy of my Digital Sex single. I've just got a handful of these left. Dervish Dance, how many more times? This has become a collector's item. I've seen it go for 75 recently, but I have a few of these, and if someone's interested, I'll talk. I might be willing to start at $200 for one of these, but that's what I traded for the Indian Summer. I traded this. I traded one of these for this, and then Jesse threw in those other records on top because he was so happy to get this. This is my second ever record that I ever made. My first one was by Norman and the Rockwells. There might be 1,000 of these. There might only be 500. I don't remember. The covers are actually screened on this black paper. I'll give credit to Sheehan. He had a lot to do with investigating, getting this paper together, and putting together the screen process with the gold ink. And yeah, these are an item now. So yeah, I'm still tripping, you know. Really happy with the trade. Really happy. And I played this all the way through. I like this. I like this album. On Facebook, some of you that follow me or on Facebook noticed that I put up a picture where yesterday I also went to Drastic Plastic, a local record store. That I've told the story before where they had an employee who's been fired that wouldn't accept my records. Drastic has always sold my records. But this one encounter I had with an employee upset me so much that I just, you know, I was ready to stop doing business with the store. On this last record store day, I talked to the manager when I went in and just told him the story about my situation. And he bought a copy of Flyover on the Spot for the store, but not only is it in the store, but they made a section for me in the I'm not just in the H's, but there's Jimi Hendrix, and then right behind Jimi Hendrix, this card is Dereck Higgins' card. It's just really neat. It's thank you, Drastic Plastic and Neil, for treating me right. Thank you. While I was there, they had this marked down, so I grabbed it. These are going for anywhere from 16 to 20 bucks a piece. These Bowie picture discs. This one was marked down to $9.98 for some reason, so I grabbed it. I'm a Bowie collector. I love Bowie, and I love this song, Sorrow. I love the song. Before I go, what else is on my mind here? There are some things. I had company, my friends from Atlanta, Mason Brown, currently playing with the band Maserati, but was in Tilly and the Wall, Jet by Day. He is Brainworlds. I had him sign my album. Get it. What's cool about records is Sequoia Flame David Horowitz digs Brainworlds and discovered Brainworlds on his own. Didn't even know I knew him. So when I shared with him that Mason is a friend of mine, and Mason signed it for me, that was cool to share that with David when that happened. That, oh yeah, Brainworlds is a friend of mine actually. Mason is on the Indrima album too, doing the Brainworlds sound thing. Fackler was over. David Matesiak from Comedy Bones and other bands was over. They're in town. Neely Jenkins, from Tilly and the Wall, is getting married today. I'm not going to go to the wedding. But while we were hanging out, we were playing new tracks by everybody, including me. I'm happy to say that my shit is blowing people away. It is, you know. I have a new thing with kind of a hip hop beat that I played for him, because I'd like to do something like that, and really got a positive reaction from that. Listen to this. This has been out. We'll listen to the genius Jizza Fackler from Icky Blossoms in Dreama is a huge hip hop fan, so he was like on cloud 9 to be listening to some hip hop with me. It was fun. He kept saying, "Man, this is so cool. Hip hop in Higgins' house." And all I had to say is, "Man, I was hip hop before they started calling it hip hop." And that is that's the damn truth. Even though I don't be going around looking like this, I have represented and protected, I have represented my people forever and have put my life on the line, literally, for my people. So don't talk to me about who's hip hop. And all that hard shit. I really don't like it. I can do it. That I used to have guns. Have I been shot at? Have I ever shot anybody? Never shot anyone. Have I ever put a gun in somebody's face? Fuck yes. And I don't have the jacket anymore, but one of the times I got shot at went through my jacket. I ain't no cream puff. I don't like that. This keeps coming up because I've been watching, my latest round of watching has been hip hop. Really enjoying it. Last night I watched the Up in Smoke tour, which is 13, 14 years ago. Really enjoyed it. I love Dre and Snoop, and Snoop, Lion, Dog, whatever. Man, he's got the way his flow is. It's wonderful. But there's just so much falseness and bullshit and negative, just irresponsible, childish, in my opinion, childish thinking and behavior that is associated with what appears to be hip hop to me. That's all I want to say. That's the main thing I say. I love the people and I do love the music. I do. But man, that is not the kind of atmosphere I want in my house. I don't. What else is down here? Anything else down here to show you? Talked about Lord Such with my friends. That's what's fun about playing records with some of the younger guys. It's like school time, Just recently finished up a jag of listening to Flying Lotus. Listening to how he does his thing, not to copy him, but to listen to what he's doing and see if there's something like that I want to do. Now, so far, I'm not wanting to emulate Flying Lotus, but I like what Flying Lotus is doing. And this raw material that Britt Varn gave me, this is like the original. These are really collectible too. I believe this was originally on RCA Neon, or one of their albums was anyway. And these originals go for big money. Big money. So I think to wrap up this morning, I'm excited. I'm gonna do the callback on the movie today. Hopefully we'll get the part. We have the punk rock show tonight. Tim Kerr of the Big Boys was here last night. I tried to go and see him. I went to the gallery and saw his art, but like I said, I beat everybody there, and I don't like standing around. I'd rather sit at home. So I missed last night, but looking forward to tonight. As a result of getting the news about the exhibit coming up at the gallery, which went public, they sent out a press release yesterday about my exhibit that's coming up. I started making some collages, and one of the extra Dereck ones, I just added some things to it. It's just, collage art is stolen art. That. You take stuff, you can contextualize it. And I like that, how that came out. So I got that up on the wall. Shout out to Daddy Paniques. I see you, Daddy. I know you're still with me. Much love, everybody.